Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on these trades, starting from the benchmark index moves to sectoral action and all the stocks that are passing the most in trade. We'll get you expert views to find out where exactly are opportunities emerging for you as an equity investor in the current market setup. But quickly, let's look at how the Nifty and the Sensex are looking up as far as the last half an hour of trading session is concerned. As we begin this half hour, you can see the markets inching up towards the day's high, half odd percent to 0.6% up move right now. The Nifty is well above the 19,700 mark. It's trading with gains of almost 116 points. 400 points of a jump for the Sensex as well. 66,564 the current level. Let's also look at the broader markets to see if the participation is increasing from there too. We can see 0.25% jump on the Nifty Bank, but the mid and the small cap 100 indices, let's look at what kind of action are we looking at on those two sectors as well. Well, as far as the mid cap 150 sector is concerned, it's up by over 1%. Small cap 50 index is up by over 1% as well. You can definitely see some of the other sectors that are moving fastest in trade today. So you can see metals shining brightest, 1.7% increase for that one. The IT stocks in flavor, 1.5% move for this one as well. The autos are in the top gear, right ahead of the auto sales numbers tomorrow. You can see oil and gas also buzzing in action, almost 1% up. Consumer durables, realty, all of them are looking up. Just flattish move on the pharma index and slight declines coming in on the pharma, on the FMCG and the healthcare pack. Rest of the sectors are looking good in trade. In terms of the top Nifty gainers and the losers today, right now if we speak, you can see, stocks like NTPC really gaining ground and among the top gainers as far as the Nifty index is concerned. Some of the other stocks that are moving up in trade also include, Laurus Labs, some of those pharma names like, Ipca Labs, Lupin, Dr. Reddy's. These are the names that are buzzing in action. But let's get our guest right in. Mr. Ambarish Palika joins in, independent market expert. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Always a pleasure speaking with you. What's the sense that you're getting about the markets? We've been now, stuck in a very, very narrow band over the last one and a half weeks or so after inching very close to that 20,000 mark. What's the sense that you're getting? Are we in for the next leg of rally, or is this a zone where the markets are just deciding which way to go? Your thoughts, sir?
I think we are just in a narrow band right now, which is basically between 19,500 to 20,000. And I think most of the good news is already digested. I think that's already taken care of as such. And in case we cross 20,000, which I think would be very difficult for the markets to cross, but in case we cross 20,000, then I think the next 1,500 points could be quite fast. But at the same time, in case we go below 19,500, then I think we could have a deeper cut, and possibly we could see levels of 18,500 to 18,800. When I talk of good news, like the macro numbers have been good, which is already, taken care of. It's already there in the prices. Inflation is more or less under control. But at the same time, we should remember that the oil prices have started inching up. And in case they go up possibly either $5 to $10, I think that should start having an effect on the market as such. And at the same time, like normally what we see that the first half numbers generally are better than the second half numbers. So, in the next couple of days, it will be the second half of the earnings season where you'll start seeing a slightly, weaker numbers. If that has an effect on the market, so as of now, I would say I'm more cautious than optimistic. Although about a month back, I did not expect the markets to go beyond 18,800 levels, and it crossed that and really shot up post that. So they have become expensive, no doubt. But then when money talks, I think the fundamental takes a back seat, and that's what we are seeing as of now. That it's more of liquidity which is playing out.
Okay. I'm glad that you really pointed out about the oil prices rising, because we've been seeing commodity stocks come back into flavor. Metals have been shining bright over the last 1.5 weeks or so. Oil and gas stocks, the energy stocks, power stocks are in flavor as well. How are you looking at this entire basket? Anything that attracts you at this point in time that you believe is set for a structural build-up?
No, see, like the way I see it is these could be the short-term moves which we are seeing because quite a few of them have been underperformers. If you're talking about metals, for a while they've been underperformers, and now there's a talk of Chinese shops to prop up the economy. and that's what is driving these to a certain extent. But then I really don't see a long-term bull run in metals. I think the best is behind us. I mean, what we saw about 3 or 4 quarters back, I think was the best time for the metals. And post that, like the earnings which you have seen are lower quarter after quarter, and I don't see that changing too soon.
Okay, understood. What about the recent pickup in the pharma pack? How are you reading into that?
No, pharma is one space where I mean I've been bullish for a while now, saying that possibly 2023 could be a sort of a turnaround for the pharma pack because we've seen underperformance in the last 18 months. And if you see from the US FDA perspective, also, I think most of the pharma companies are getting a clean chit as compared to what we have seen the last 2 to 3 years. And earnings again, this quarter, we have seen most of them coming out. I mean, the ones which have come out already I mean, have come out with decent results, earnings better than expected, especially if you look at a stock like Cipla. After a
Yeah.
long, we've seen extremely good earnings from them. And I think that is what is setting the trend for the pharma space. And I think over the next couple of quarters, we should see much better levels.
Okay. Any pockets where you still find overvalue, undervalue in the current markets? What is your view there?
Which sector you're talking about?
Which is the sector, according to you, that is overvalued at this point in time and undervalued at this point?
I would say at this point of time, more like most of the sectors are overvalued or fairly valued. So I will not really be buying anything fresh as of now, except possibly in like the pharma space. Again, I mean, here we had bought much earlier, but I wouldn't mind adding some more at this point of time based on the earnings. Uh, IT space is the other one where possibly I look at buying in the next 1 or 2 quarters, not immediately, because most of them, I think, like the sort of weak earnings or weak management commentary,
Yeah.
it's already there in the prices, but I still see underperformance continuing for a quarter more. I think post that, I would start looking at buying, buying into IT stocks.
Okay. What about the banking space, especially the PSU banks? Some of the stocks, including SBI, are at record high levels. We've seen the
Right.
earnings come about, profitability increasing for all of them as well. Your thoughts here on the PSU banks after the recent run up that we had already seen? Is there still a lot of undervalue that people should be looking at buying?
No, I think there's momentum in the banking space, but then I don't think there's any more undervaluation in that, especially the PSU banking space, because we have seen an extremely good move in the last 12 to 15 months. And this was based on the fact that most of these banks will come out with much better earnings over the next 3 or 4 quarters. And that's exactly what, I mean, what we have seen. Going forward, I mean, I really don't see the net interest margins expanding from here. In fact, we will see a contraction in NIMs going ahead because clearly the deposit rates are catching up with the lending rates. So that's what I think we'll see going ahead. So I don't see an outperformance from here. At best, they may just about hold on at these levels. And in case the market corrects, like what I'm expecting, we could see, I mean, most of these PSU banks correcting slightly more than what the markets would correct. So I wouldn't buy into it right now. And I mean, whoever is holding, I mean, possibly suggest that one should look at booking out to a certain extent.
Okay, okay. Point noted. Fair point right there. What about the broader markets? They've outperformed the larger ones. Do you expect the outperformance to continue? And would you say, or like, how would you advise investors to really look into opportunities in the mid and the small cap space?
Mid and small caps, we have seen quite a few of them becoming like multi-baggers. I mean, especially in the defense space, we have seen huge multi-baggers.
Yeah.
And that's where, I mean, my worries are currently because the order flows have been excellent. And that's already priced in to a very large extent because, I mean, most of them have got orders multiple times of possibly what they had seen in the last decade or more. But the issue right now, I mean, I think going ahead would be, I mean, how they would execute those orders. Because however large a company could, I mean, is, I mean, even I mean, a company like L&T, if they're getting 10x the orders which they have managed in the past, it's quite difficult for them to, I mean, execute those. So I mean, the issue with the smaller companies would still be much larger. I mean, like when they are getting such large orders, it's not possible to have a smooth execution, and that's not being questioned. That's not really I mean being accounted for by the market men. I think this will I mean this could be an issue going ahead, and
Yeah.
once that comes to fore, possibly we could see a very good correction. So I would say, the defense stocks, this may not be the time to exit completely, but at least, at least 50% off the table.
Okay. Apart from this, another question that I had for you was especially for investors who are now looking to invest afresh. Now, we've already seen the last 4 months of sharp sprint in the markets. It's run up too sharp too quickly. But at this point, in case there is a fresh investor who has, say, about 1 lakh rupees to invest in the markets, what would you say? Would you ask them to wait a bit, or would you say that have a SIP approach to select stocks? What would you really say to them?
No, if one has patience, then I would say wait a while, because typically what happens is whenever a new investor comes in and then sees a 15-20% cut in the portfolio, because if the market's correct even 7 to 8%, the portfolio is correct much more. So a new investor seeing a 20% cut in his portfolio in a short term will actually get so scared that he'll not come back to the markets again. So if you have patience, possibly wait for a while. If you don't have patience, then I would say possibly invest 25 to 30%, and that too in sectors like pharma and possibly IT, where I would possibly, I would prefer to wait. But then I don't see too much more of a downside for IT, because anyway they've underperformed already.
Yeah.
These are the two pockets to hide for the time being. In case the markets correct sharply from them.
Got that. Well, many thanks, Mr. Valika, for being with us and
Thank you.
sharing such wonderful insights with all our viewers. As always, always a pleasure having you with us on
Thank you.
BTTV. Let's get back to markets to see how are they looking like at this point in time. The markets are trying to hold up those half odd percent of gains. 19,750 currently for the Nifty. The Sensex is up by 375 odd points, currently at 66,534. Most of the broader markets are also participating in this move. We'll just have to wait a bit, just 15 minutes to go. But looks like we are going to have a fair bit of green on the screen when we shut shop in today's trading action right at the beginning of the weekend. Should augur well for the rest of the days that follow in this week too. We'll continue to monitor the market moves for you, so you can do the same by being with us on Business Today TV. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also continue to engage with us on our other social media platforms as well. Until then, many thanks for tuning in.
We are very happy that during Honorable Prime Minister's state visit to US, 3 major semiconductor agreements were signed. First one is Micron Technologies. Very happy, and I thank Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat